Tiny House Prepper.
Hey everybody, I'm Bill with Tiny House Prepper. This is our little mini wood stove, cubic mini wood stove. We heat our entire house with this. We live in a 32-foot RV. It's 250 square feet, set permanently on our land, and we heat this. We use this to heat our house all winter long. It's a great little stove, but this video is not about the stove. We've actually done quite a few videos about the stove, and if you would like to find out more about it, you can look at the playlist link that I have down below. This video is about the wood. You see, in order to burn this stove, I have to cut the wood into no longer than 6.5 inches. That's the only way they'll fit in this little stove. So the question is, after I process the wood into these little pieces, how do I store this?
I mean, it's too much work, and it's just downright silly to stack the wood like this, especially because I need about a half a cord of wood to get me through the winter. So what I've done in years past is to store the wood in trash cans. Drill holes around the top in case there's any moisture in the wood, it can get out. But each one of these full cans only stores about a week's worth of food. Stores about a week's worth of wood. And so I would have to have a whole line of these in order to save enough to have ahead for the entire winter. So what I'm going to do instead is to build a wood storage bin. It's going to be right here, about 3 feet square or 4 feet square, I don't know yet, and tall, and it'll be tucked in underneath of that eave up there to protect it from the weather. And that way hopefully I can fit most of a winter's worth of wood right into that storage bin. Okay, so here's the plan. This is going to be a tall wood bin, and it'll be open on this side, up at the top. When I cut those little pieces of wood, I'll be able to just throw them in on the top, and it'll fill up this bin. Down here at the bottom, there'll be a door. It'll slope out this way, and it'll be a door that I can lift out, so I'm always taking wood from the bottom and putting the new wood in the top and rotating it, so I don't get wood down here in the bottom that gets to be 10 years old and gets gets rotten. So I think it's going to work well. Now, as you can see, the top is underneath of the roof there. Eventually I'm going to put a rain gutter up there. That'll help too, so that'll protect it. The weather always comes from this direction. Always comes from there beating this way. So if I just stacked wood here, the whole end would get wet. So what I did was I used this exterior pressure treated lumber of plywood. I'm going to stain it the same color as this, and this has also got a preservative. I'm going to use plywood here and plywood on this side that might be exposed to the rain coming off of the roof. But then all of these little pieces, they're pretty seasoned, they're pretty dry, but if there's any moisture in there still, I want it to be able to get out. I don't want wood sitting at the bottom that's wet and rotting. So the back side here and this side here is all going to be slots like this to let the moisture out. So the front, this side and the front side will be plywood, the back side and this side will be the slotted wood, so that moisture will be able to get out if any should get in there. Down here at the bottom is where it'll slope like this, and there'll be a door that I can lift up to get the wood out from the bottom. Okay, so the door will be here, so I can lift this up, get the wood out. I'll put the cut wood in at the top, it'll fall down. I put this piece here so that I would not have wood that sits back in that corner for decades and rots. Because I would never get to the wood back there if it keeps coming out this way. So this will push the wood forward, so hopefully I'll be always using the oldest wood and I can rotate it through as it goes. I think I like my design. Alright, so I got the ramp back here to push the wood forward. Got this piece on, the door on. The last thing to do is this front piece right here. Originally, I was just going to cut it down straight here and then this way, but I decided instead to cut it at an angle from the top corner down to here. That way this board will kind of cover here a little bit. It might give a little bit of extra weather protection from anything coming off the roof that might blow in through here and get the wood wet. So yeah, I just think it'll be a little bit more watertight that way. But then these are still here so that any water that gets in there will be able to evaporate out and won't get caught in there. So I made a little minor mistake when I was doing this. I took the slats all the way up to the top. That's where I need to be able to throw the wood after I cut it. So I'm going to take those top 2 slats off, and then I can use them. I still got one more that needs to go down here. So the only thing left to do now is put a top on it. You know, it's mostly protected underneath of the eave up there, but it's right at the edge of the shed. The weather comes this direction, and it could possibly blow rain in over on the top there. So I was just going to put a piece of plywood on top. Then I decided to make a little bit of a taper like this. I'll put that on there to give it just a little bit of a slope. I'm not going to put any kind of shingle material or anything like that on there. It's 3/4 inch plywood, so it's not going to warp terribly bad. It's pressure treated, and then I'm going to stain the entire thing with the same thing that I put here, the brown stain, and it's also got a water treatment in it, which will tend to help make it a little bit waterproof. And if it rots eventually, I can just replace the wood, but I don't think it's going to. It's being pressure treated and all that. So yeah, let me get it finished up with just the roof on it. Well, it's finally finished, and I'm very excited because I've actually been working on this crazy thing for a couple of months. I just haven't had a whole lot of time, and when I did, it seemed like it was raining most of the time. We've had so much rain this fall. Anyway, it's done. It's now early November, so that gives me a month or 6 weeks at least, probably before the snow starts to fly, to be able to cut the wood and get it processed and start to get this thing filled up. So let me give you a grand tour. So here it is from the front of the shed. The weather actually comes from this direction, beats that way. That's why I put that roof on top of it so that it wouldn't blow in from the end. As you come around, you can see a little bit of an angle on the roof. Actually, from here it kind of looks like an outhouse, doesn't it? Over here is where I have all the firewood. See, it's well protected underneath of that eave, and then it's got the tarp on top of it as well. And eventually I will build a little wood processing station right here, be a table where I can get the wood up high so I can easily cut it with the chainsaw and that sort of thing. I'll show you that in a different video. And then we come here. This is what I actually have to process the wood into, no longer than 6.5 inches. And I'll use the chainsaw to do that for the most part. Then I can just throw it up there like that. And we got the wood slats so the air can come out, or the moisture can come out. And there we go. There's a piece of wood I just threw in there. So I am very happy with that. Given my unique situation with the cubic mini wood stove and those tiny little pieces of wood that I have to process, this is going to do it. Instead of using those stupid little trash cans to store the wood, where I'd need about 10 of them or 20 of them, this should get me most of the way through the winter, I think. Very happy. So the only thing left for me to do is to stain it the same color as the wall, and then down here I'll probably put a couple of flagstones in there, otherwise that'll just turn to mud because that's a high traffic area, and that'll be it. But that's for another day. So there you have it, my wood bin project. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's taken me several months, like I said, but it's done and I'm happy with it. And as soon as I finish the rest of the wood processing station here, right where I'm at right now, I'll do a video on that as well and show you how the whole system will work. So please like the video and be sure to subscribe so you can see the rest of the videos as they come out. And I'm very happy to have you along. you know, it always amazes me the response I get from project videos like this of how many people really enjoy them. So here you go. All right, you be blessed.